I don't want to waste your time, so there won't be an intro. The concept of a one-way smoke is pretty well known among high-level Counter-Strike players. But in Rainbow, traditional one-way smokes just don't really exist. But what exactly are one-way smokes anyways? I'll show you an example in CSGO. The idea is to throw a smoke, which doesn't bloom on the floor, but rather in a slightly elevated position, which means that you can see through the gap at the bottom of the smoke, but because you can't go prone in CS, the attacker can't see anything at all. Pretty strong, right? But if we want to use that concept in Rainbow, there is a pretty big problem. There just simply aren't any spots where you can throw a smoke like that. Trust me, I've tried. But luckily, that's not the only source of smokes in Rainbow. Capitao can have his smoke bolts explode basically wherever he wants, so he kind of has a built-in one-way smoke function. And now we just find some spots where that could be useful. Let's look at Armory on Border, for example, where we can smoke off Sandwich by shooting a smoke at this metal structure at the ceiling. And that seems kind of disappointing, doesn't it? Like, the smoke doesn't even affect the defender at all. But that is actually not true, because the perspective is quite misleading. As you can see, you actually cannot see anything if you're standing. And even if you crouch, that doesn't change. You still can't see anything. Which is quite unexpected, I'd say. And that's also why one-way smokes are actually more viable than you think. Because that kind of thing happens for pretty much every one of them. So if you started using that now, while no one really knows about it, you should be able to get quite a few free kills, because defenders are going to assume that they can crouch through it, but they can't. Alright, that's the basic concept. Now I want to go over some other spots where one-way smokes could be good, and more importantly, where they could be better than just regular smokes. First one is on Border again. For ventilation plants, you always need a player outside main door to make sure that no defender can use the door to get into vents. But the defenders know that too, so they are always trying to challenge you here. And that's where one-way smokes come in. They give you an insane advantage in the gunfight, but at the same time, there is no risk of the defender slipping by, unlike if you miss through a regular smoke, for example. But of course, there are also spots where a one-way smoke is better than a correctly thrown regular smoke. For planting in Consulate lobby, for example. Have the smoke pop at the top of the doorway, and now you have a much better chance of denying defenders who are trying to C4 the planter. If you just throw a regular one, it's sometimes pretty hard to do that. And the same is kind of true for planting in dining on a villa kitchen attack. If you just throw a regular smoke, a defender might be able to walk into it and C4 the plant. With a one-way smoke, that's just not possible. Another thing I like about them is that you get quite a bit more time to react, which is nice to have in something like a 2v2 situation. Imagine you are attacking meeting on Consulate and you are in a 2v2. So you want to smoke off both connector and long desk so your teammate can plant in meeting. With regular smokes, you don't exactly get a lot of time to react once the defender comes out of the smoke. But with one-ways, you can kind of buy yourself more time to react. And the same concept also applies to planting statue on a villa attack. You one-way smoke off the door towards Astro, and you instantly make that gunfight way more favorable. And again, defenders can't see anything here, neither standing up nor crouching down. Alright, so these cover the traditional CSGO style one-way smokes. But I do have one more use case that is a bit, let's say, unorthodox. As you might know, smoke in Rainbow literally permeates everything, even solid walls. Which is why you can do fun things, such as throwing a smoke on metal stairs to deny the Armory default plant. Or you can do it through the wall in Mini, to give a more practical example. Anyways, the same thing applies to Capitao smokes too. So what you can do is shoot your smoke at the ceiling of a room to smoke a spot right above it, which might have been too hard to reach otherwise. Not saying that doing it here on Cafe is particularly strong, it's more about the concept and the possibilities. And that's basically it for Capitao one-way smokes. And now it's up to you to find some other spots where that could be useful. Sadly, Capitao is banned quite a lot in Pro League, and these one-way smokes are pretty situational, so you probably won't be able to see them that often, but just knowing about the concept might help you out in the future. And I want to leave you with one more interesting interaction. If you're attacking Church on Clubhouse, you can shoot smoke bolts over the wall to stop defenders from playing in Black Box or Minibar. And Yeah, you could have just used your fireballs, but that wouldn't be very interesting. Okay, that's really the end of the video. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.